always taught that success is very, very difficult. You have to do a lot of hard work to get there. You're taught that it takes years of pain, suffering, and sacrifice, and that it comes at the expense of your peace and your soul, and maybe sometimes your time. But what if success was as simple as tying your shoes? What if the world made it seem complicated so that you couldn't see how easy it actually is? You see, success to me isn't something that you necessarily earn. It's something that you should be entitled to. Not by society, but by God. Right now, we live in the most abundant time in history. A lot of people are becoming millionaires. Literally last year, 500,000 new millionaires were made. So why does it look like everyone online is winning, but we're all basically in the same exact situation we were last year? Why does it feel like we're still in the same financial position as last year? Success isn't always luck. It's not magic. What it really is, it's alignment. All success is created in the mind. And there are 7 spiritual laws. Some of these are ancient. They're real, but they're also hidden. They're hidden in how reality works. And if you understand them, life will stop resisting you. Life is going to start flowing through you, because these laws aren't just about accumulating riches. They're also about having a successful, happy life and creating the life that you actually want. These are the 7 laws of how the universe works, how life works. So if you can actually use these laws for yourself instead of going against them and realizing how they actually work, you'll make life work for you more instead of having it always go against you. So the first law in this book is called the law of pure potentiality. What this law basically states, you aren't the thinker. You are not your thoughts, you are not your problems or your past. You are just the awareness of what is actually going on. The real you just observes. When you can access this version of you, the true self that exists in the stillness, when you meditate and be still, you'll find your true self. You'll find the person that's always been there, not the ego. And that real you exists in this field of pure potentiality. And that's basically like the quantum realm, where anything and everything is possible. This is where all timelines exist. This is where all futures exist. All the different versions of you in the future, whether they're good or bad, they all exist. And they're all determined on basically the decisions you make right now. When you can go and sit in silence, you can learn how to actually access this field of potential, this field of unlimited potential. And this is why meditation is so important. In the Bible, it says somewhere, "Be still and know that I'm God." That is the field of potential. I haven't accessed it myself, but when I meditate, I try my best to surrender to the breath. Because the less thought you have in your brain that's actually going on, the easier you can, and then actually put your intention in this field of potential. Because this field of potential, it's like an ocean. And if you can drop a little rock of intention, it's gonna ripple out into the future. Everything is just potential. Your potential. So that's the first law. Now the second one is a very interesting law as well. It's the law of giving and receiving. So basically what this law actually states is that you can't receive anything without giving something first. So if you want more of any area in your life, you need to give more in that area of life. Let me tell you a quick story. Back when I was doing insurance, I used to have to invest into leads. So the way I would get clients is I would invest into leads. So I'd buy a lead pack each day. And for $100, I can buy 100 leads for my business and make cold calls. But the problem with this was that I wasn't getting the results that I actually wanted to get. I was investing $100 each day, but I wasn't getting a return on my money. at the end of the month, I would have more money than I began with, but not that much. So what was the problem here? Why was I investing money but not seeing my return? So I basically started questioning what is going on. Why am I not making as much money as I want? I see the people around me that I work with, they make more money than me, but they don't work any harder than me. So what am I doing wrong? So I go around, I ask people some questions. I ask them, how are you making so much money? And they ask me, well, how much are you spending in a day? And I'm like, $100, like the basic. And they're like, okay, I see the problem there. You're not investing enough. And they told me they invest $300 a day. Lead flow equals cash flow. And they specifically told me, if you want to get more and get more results, you have to give more to get the results. And I'm like, okay, that makes so much more sense. So that's what I started doing. I started putting more money into my business. I started giving more. So I started getting more leads. And then I started getting higher quality leads. That's when I started picking up the pace more and making more money. So that was a direct example of how the law of giving and receiving works. But it doesn't have to just be in business. For me, this also goes into relationships. If you want to receive more love, you have to give more love. If you go up to someone and just give them love, you think they're not going to give you love back. But if you go up to someone and give them hate, what are they going to do? They're going to give you hate back. Whatever you give, you get. If you want money, circulate money. If you want love, give love. You only get what you give. So this law is super simple to apply, but the rewards are truly unlimited. So use this for your advantage. Now the third law, karma. So karma is a little bit different than the law of giving and receiving, because karma is always in motion. You are living your karma every single day, whether you realize it or not. So just think about it. The life you're living right now is the life that you chose, consciously or unconsciously. You have made choices that led you to this moment right here. Every thought, every word, every action has led you right here. Every thought, every word, and every action had planted a seed, and now you're living in the harvest. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. This is karma. Your inputs always equal your outputs. So if you treat your body like trash, your body is going to treat your mind like trash. Boom. Your body is going to repay you with mental fog. Karma is just unconscious momentum playing out in real time. This is why success is basically 99% mindset and 1% skill. I used to want respect, but when it mattered, I'd stay quiet. If I knew I could help someone, I would not help people because I was scared of looking dumb. I was scared of being judged for speaking up, basically. So every time I had a situation where I could actually help someone, I would basically hide. And that's what became my karma, being unseen. No one could respect someone that doesn't speak up for themselves. And then I saw how my older brother moved. He was more loud, he was more confident, and much less apologetic. And I remember I asked him one time, he was doing something, I don't remember what it was, and I'm like, don't you think people would think of you like as arrogant? And then he like replied back to me, and he was like, boy, I don't give a what anyone thinks. I don't care. I do not care. I do not care at all. This does not matter to me, okay? I could care less what people think about me. You don't like it? Move on. And that's when I realized people don't respect perfection. They respect realness. They respect the authentic you. They respect when you're yourself unapologetically. Some people might not like it, but they still respect you. If you're so apologetic about who you are, you don't respect yourself. So you need to respect yourself. And that's what I realized. I realized that hiding wasn't protecting me. It was just punishing me. So instead of being quiet all the time, I just started to be myself and saying my opinions more. The opinions that I actually believe to be true, no matter what anyone thinks. I'll say what I have to say. And this story directly shows that karma isn't always some big punishment. Sometimes it's just the quiet result of not choosing differently and not making better decisions. So just make sure that you ask yourself, are your thoughts, are your habits, actions aligned with the person that you want to become and the life that you say you actually want? Or are you just saying that to feel better about staying the same? Third law, the law of least effort. If you notice, nature doesn't hustle. It's patient. A tree takes as long as it needs to take. Sometimes it takes 30 years to grow. The sun doesn't force itself to rise, it just rises. Power moves without resistance. Most people are stressed, burned out, and confused not because they're doing too little. It's because they're doing things that aren't actually aligned. It's basically about effortless power. That's why the 80-20 rule is so important. It basically states that 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort. So you have to figure out, where can I put most effort that will give me the most results? Because when you're trying to control everything, when you're trying to fix everything, overthink everything, that's when the ego takes over. That's when you're operating from fear. But when you surrender, when you trust, and you start working on things that actually move you the furthest, things naturally start working for you a little bit more. You move less, but you get more done. You say less, but the words that you do say, they carry weight. Basically, what this law allows you to do is to attract instead of chasing. I remember a time when I stopped going to the gym for a while. And when I stopped going to the gym, I was mad at myself because I knew I was like skipping and missing progress I could have been making. I really, really wanted to get back on the grind and get back in the gym. But for some reason, every time I thought about going to the gym, I kind of felt like I was going upstream. I felt like I was fighting something. To be honest, I was just scared to go back. But then I realized I was making the gym into this massive task. Because before, it always felt natural for me to go to the gym. It always felt like something that just flowed. It didn't feel like I was really doing anything like humongous. I would just go to the gym, lifting some weights and leaving. So when I realized this, I'm like, okay, well, the gym's not that big of a task. Logically, I knew it was not a massive task. But emotionally, I'm like, I do not want to go at all. Hell no. So what I did was I just did the easiest step I could. All I did was put some workout clothes on. That's it. And then after that, I put my shoes on. I just focused on putting my shoes on. And then after that, I grabbed the keys and got in the car and just focused on doing that. And then after that, I just focused on driving the car. Boom. I didn't think about the end result. I just focused on the process. And then when I got to the gym, okay, I'm here now. Might as well just work out. All I did was just do a few warm-up sets. I did 3 exercises and then I just left. And I did the exact same process of getting to the gym the next day. And then after a week, I was back in the gym. My identity was now someone who goes to the gym consistently. If I went full force, I knew I wouldn't come back tomorrow. I got myself going to the gym by doing tiny little steps so that going to the gym didn't look like a huge effort. I did the steps that felt like the least effort. I wasn't thinking about the whole mountain. I was just thinking about the next step that was in front of me. So if nature works by the least resistance, so should you. So try to figure out, where are you putting a lot of effort in that's not actually getting your results? And where could you be putting your effort in to get more results? So moving on to the fourth law, which is the law of intention and desire. For the law of intention and desire, what you have to realize is that whatever you put your attention on, that will grow. If you give something your energy, it's going to expand. If you take your energy away from it, it's going to naturally fizzle out. It's going to evaporate. It's going to dissolve. So in terms of success, intention sets a direction of where you're putting your attention. So what are your intentions and where are you putting your attention? So most people, they say they want success, but their thoughts are chaotic. But the universe listens to energy, not words. If you feel stuck right now, it's not because you're stuck, it's because your thoughts are completely scattered. So you need to focus your mind on an objective, on a goal. And the reason why is because a scattered mind is not a happy one. The mind works as an amazing servant if you know how to actually control it properly. But it's a really, really bad master. So what you need to do is set a goal and stay present. And then focus attention on that goal every single day. As a human, you have infinite flexibility. Through intention, you can actually command the laws of nature to help fulfill your desires. Pause for a second and realize that you have complete freedom right now. You can touch your head, you can touch your shoulders, you can touch your knees, you can breathe in fully. Feel that. You have complete freedom, but take a second to actually pause and fully realize the present moment and the freedom that you have right now. You have billions of brain cells that are so powerful. Imagine if you could take the energy of all these brain cells and focus it on one thing. Imagine how powerful you would become through intention and desire, through actually putting your intention in the proper place and giving your attention and giving it proper attention. You can truly, truly win. So don't be on autopilot right now. Always realize the power that you have. And always be in the present moment. Don't let your thoughts get ahead of you. Don't let thoughts control you. Make sure that you meditate and realize the power that you have. The sixth law is the law of detachment. You might have heard of be detached from your goals, but being detached doesn't mean to be lazy and to stop caring. It means just stop begging. It means that you want the result, but you're not desperate for it. And the way I think about this is that your only job is in the work, because results are never guaranteed, only the processes. The result and the goal can always change, because you can never really tell what's going to go on in the future. If you have a 5-year goal, that's great, but chances are it's going to be a lot different than you imagined. And if your happiness depends on outcomes, you're going to be miserable. Oh my lord, you're going to be unstable, because results are always going to be like this. They're always just going to be like that. So if the results are like this and your happiness depends on how well or good you're doing on the journey that you're on, then you're going to be unstable. Your emotions are going to go up and down, and you're not going to be able to achieve anything like that. You're not going to be able to master your mind. So be detached from the actual outcomes and just fall in love with the process. You always hear fall in love with the process, and that's the reason why, because the process is what actually makes you happy. But obviously still have goals. Goals are great. They actually help you know what you're working towards. Just don't attach your identity to whether or not you achieve them. Certainty is always an illusion. It's a way that the ego tries to control life, basically. But you have to be okay with uncertainty sometimes, because we live in a world that's not always certain. So you gotta realize that every problem that you face, be detached from whether or not you actually solve it. Be detached about what's actually going on. Because if you detach yourself, what you'll quickly realize is that every problem is just a doorway to a better version of you. The last law is the law of Dharma. And what Dharma means is the purpose of life. So there are three laws. So there are three parts to the law of Dharma. And the first law is that you are here for a reason. You're not here to survive, but to fulfill something specific. You were born with a gift, a way of thinking, a way of moving, a way of speaking, a way of doing something that no one else can replicate. And that gift was given to you for a reason, whether you know it or not. You're not supposed to become anyone else. You're supposed to become fully you. So don't copy anyone else. You have your own specific gifts, and you have to figure out what that is. And another part of Dharma is that you have to discover your true self. And we talked a little bit about this in the law of pure potentiality. And again, I want to restate this to you. You are not the thinker. You are not the ego. You are not whatever happened to you in the past, and you're not whatever happened to you in the future. You're the higher self beneath it all. The real you, the observer. It's powerful, and it's waiting for you to uncover it. And then the last part of Dharma, and the last part of Dharma is you need to use the gift to serve others. And that's where it clicks. If you can find what you actually like doing, and that actually helps other people, that's your purpose. If you naturally like making jokes and it actually makes people's lives better, it fills a specific need for people, that's your purpose. But if you can find your gift and find what actually makes you happy, and then actually feel a need with that, you'll find your purpose. And that's how you create wealth. That's how you make wealth effortless, because whatever you actually like doing and you're doing it as your career, it's gonna feel a lot more effortless. It's gonna feel like you're going with the stream and you're gonna be building wealth. That's how wealth is naturally made. So if you want to find what you're actually meant to do, what your gift is, it's out there somewhere, but the easiest way to look and find this is to look inward. Sit in silence and ask yourself, what would I do if I had all the time and the money in the world? What lights me up and helps others too? And if you meditate on this long enough, and you actually think about this long enough, you'll find the answers, because they were always within you. And the great thing about it is that when you actually find what this is for you, that's when life's gonna feel a lot more alive, and you can actually go for what you want. The path will open up once you find what you're meant to do. You're gonna attract opportunities, people who naturally resonate with your path. Dharma is your real freedom. It's how you unlock everything you've been looking for: peace, confidence, wealth, impact, everything. Not by pretending to be someone, but to actually become the person who you're meant to be. So the formula for the law of Dharma is to discover your divinity through meditation, self-inquiry, and then find your gift so that your gift can actually serve others. And then after that, everything else will follow. So that's the 7 laws of success. So if you can actually figure out how to use these laws of success for yourself, your life's going to be a lot easier, because instead of fighting the universe or fighting life, you're going to be going with the stream. So before I do let you go, I will leave a link to the actual book if you guys want to take a closer look at it. It's not too long, it's like 33 pages. And as always, if you found these kind of videos helpful and insightful, make sure that you do subscribe. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye bye.